Hello all, we're at it again, starting in the Helford River in Cornwall. Rosso going into a cave, massive waves, not, coming out of a cave, and we're joined by Duncan and Sarah. So we're starting up the creek near Helford River. It's close to the sailing club. I do remember a bit of a faff with the launch because the car park is actually up the hill a bit, so we waved from the water, so we had to walk them down to the ford down the road. This footage is actually last summer, it's not British winter, where the light plan of a little splash around the Helford suddenly evolved into a return trip from Helford up to Falmouth and back.
One of Darren's classics really. We went for a nice picnic, nice little quiet paddle around the Helford, and escalated into a bit of an epic to Falmouth and back, but good fun day, perfect conditions for being out on the water anyway.
It was a smashing day and the scenery is amazing around there, but yeah, after 27 k's I did get told off.
I think sense of humour failure was evident at the end of the trip, but at the beginning I think we were all pretty happy. It was a beautiful day, you can see the sunshine, incredibly calm conditions we had for the whole week really down in Cornwall. No, it was a nice paddle.
Excellent stuff. So most of this leg we're following in close to the coast, exploring some of the rocks along the way. Rossa was playing it cautious initially, but we got her involved a bit later and she was a bit more comfortable getting in closer then. Yeah, the original leisurely plan was coming down from Truro towards Falmouth, but that sort of changed because there was some event going on in Falmouth and decided it would probably be a pain in the backside to leave a car parked up there.
Well, the Helford River is always lovely to visit. I mean, it's a stunning area, and so that was a good alternative option that we came up with, and I think it worked out well. But Darren obviously had it in his head that Falmouth was somewhere he wanted to go, and even though we were enjoying the Helford, Falmouth was in his mind, so that's where we were off to.
Deary, there is Rossa coming in and playing with some of the rocks there.
So we had a bit of a mix of boats with us this time, so we've got a kind of normal sea kayaks that you've seen, and we've got more of a river boat that Sarah was in as well.
At this part of the trip I could see a load of caves along the coast which needed good looking at on the way back. And some of the ships moored off there. And then the first glimpses coming towards Falmouth.
So we got Pendennis Castle up on the hill as you come round the point into Falmouth Harbour.
And the little fort down by the beach with some bloke fishing. You start to see more traffic now as you come into the proper harbour. Is it St Maur's across the other side there as well?
Yeah, that's right. Kind of fortifications on either side of the opening of Falmouth Harbour.
Also mighty scenic. And that, I think, was the Pendennis yard on the left.
Yeah, so there's a super yacht refurb and builder there.
A couple of other yakkers as we get under the pontoon and come round for the first sight of Falmouth proper. There's Duncan and Sarah with Pendennis Yard behind and looking on up the River Fal.
Yeah, so the first bit's quite industrial. You've got A&P Falmouth, the main commercial dock, and obviously, as we've said, Pendennis Shipyard, the super yacht builder there. And as you come round, you're getting more into the town and marinas and things like that.
Some tugs off to the rear and a navy boat off to the front, and to the right there is the proper town of Falmouth. There's a fancy pan round from the town heading up towards the slipway, and that big building is the museum. Here's the slipway we chose. From there it's a very short walk, just a few yards up the hill into the town where all the shops and everything else is going on. Only one thing on my mind.
The smells and everything are coming from the shore. I think we knew where we were going.
So we're parked up on the slipway enjoying a pasty right beside the National Maritime Museum, which is well worth a look, as you should also try a pasty if you're ever in the area. The main street of Falmouth is really picturesque. It's a lovely town that's got a proper feel to it. It's not just tourist guff, it's a proper working town. And the picture has come from a local photographer, Amber Gudger, and I'll put her details in the description. Camera visible there on the Valkyrie is the X2 without the dive case. I'm now using the X3 in a dive case since killing the X2. Pasty and tourist bit done, we're back on the water again, work our way back. My plan along there, we split off shortly after the castle, and Rossa and I went further inland so that we could have a look at the caves that we missed on the way out.
And Sarah and myself made a beeline really for the Helford, trying to minimise distance and get back as easily as we could.
So last glimpse there of Falmouth town, and then Ross is showing off going under the pontoon this time.
The Maritime Museum, if you get a chance to have a look in, they have some great stuff in there, and the general exhibits are really worth a look.
So back on the point by the castle, and this is where Rossa and I split off towards Musem sort of area, and then we followed the coast along from there. Duncan and Sarah stayed straight out.
With the conditions as they were that day, I mean, it was very flat, very little wind. It was a fairly straightforward trip, just to transit straight across the bay and stay offshore a little bit and head straight for the Helford.
You rarely see it that calm. It was ridiculously calm.
But you found some pretty interesting things on your route.
Absolutely. We could see these caves from way off when we crossed the bay on the way out, but this gave us a chance to get in and have a proper look up close and personal. And Rossa hadn't been into a cave in the Kayak before this, so she was getting all brave on us.
Looks pretty amazing, and it just seems to go on and on and on, really.
It did go on a long way there, and there was, I guess, a small recess in the rocks in the lead up to this. There were loads of people jumping off the rocks. Obviously a lot of locals know the area, and they turned up in little ribs and paddle boards and whatever to go for a swim there.
You can see the amount of movement in the water kind of up and down. Just tells you how flat and still the day was.
Absolutely. I'm sure this wouldn't be welcoming with a big swell, but hard to beat this day.
No, I don't think you'd want to go anywhere near it in a big swell. It makes you think about smugglers and classic Cornwall stories of caves and smugglers and wreckers anyway. Gives you a bit of a feel for some of that.
Pirates and pasties. So that was about the end of it. You could probably wiggle a bit further, but not much. So,
oh, amazing. Then all you've got to do is try and get out.
Yeah. Full speed astern. It's a bit narrow for the paddle. See the beautiful clear water though.
No, absolutely stunning. Lovely to be able to see the bottom and everything as you're paddling around as well.
Glad you like it. So I didn't edit this, just give you a chance to have a good look in there and listen to the sounds in there.
So there's quite a few caves along this bit of coast. You found a few, didn't you?
I found a few. This was the best one we saw. Maybe there are others if you dig deeper. And Rossa wiggles her way out.
There's people sunbathing, and you say they were jumping in off the rocks up here.
Yeah, they were jumping into the rocks. It was quite a deep little canyony bit there.
Yeah, really nice. Perfect day for it.
So final touch really is get your shades on, initiate cool mode, and head back along the coast. See what's next. This was another baby little inlet, and I thought there might be another cave in there, so reversed in, expecting trouble trying to turn around and get out. Long story short though, there wasn't a cave. It just went right up to the cliff. I did try and stop there and launch the drone. The steep side stopped the drone working, couldn't get a GPS and it wouldn't launch, so that went really well. Rossa also reversed in there, and there we go. Not much to see, so we're back out again. Really clear water, if you want to look at my bottom again.
Well, you don't find these places unless you go hunting, do you? So you've got to go and have a look at some point. you know, you never know what you might find.
Exactly. So the next mission now, we've got back out from our little exploring mission, was work out where the heck Duncan and Sarah had gone.
We're just over the horizon there somewhere, I think, weren't we?
Yeah, exactly. It was right there. It was straining the eyes, but we clocked you out there. See the colours on the horizon.
Vi antes de girar, sí, ahí están adelante, pero bueno, si vamos directo, pues esa boya naranja,
Scorchio.
un punto detrás de eso, donde termina los árboles.
Yeah, showing off a bit there, sorry.
Si apuntamos eso y vamos.
We've got a target and we're off. But look how calm it is.
Full steam ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, get pace on. Get buzzed by the helicopter. Dodging those enormous waves. Micro ripples. So that sets us conveniently on a final approach to the Shipwright's Arms. Oh, sorry, to the Helford River, that's what I meant. So this is now back into the Helford, lining up with the little creek where we started it all.
I think it was fairly low tide at this point, wasn't it? Tide was going out as we were coming in. I think the sailboat was fighting the tide on its way in. And we made our way across the seaweed to the pub.
Yeah, the low tide pretty much deposited us right at the Shipwright's Arms. We couldn't get back up to the ford even if we really wanted to. Now for a GPS track, the familiar boot on the southwest corner of the UK, showing where we are. Then zooming on in, Helford on the south there at the bottom, round the point, up to Falmouth, back. This GPS was on my boat, so you can see the detour into the coast, around the caves and back out. As always, there's loads more to come. I've recently done a Matt Armstrong and I've been rebuilding a VW van, which you'll no doubt see as the new gun kayaking transport system. We'll be taking that up to Scotland and paddling around on the Isle of Arran. We'll also be tripping to Brazil and Colombia later on. Stay with us, all of that and more to come.